Shame is a mixed emotion. It's colorful and stinky sometimes mixture of sadness, anger, fear, and joy. And the piece of joy is something that is quite new for me. And I want to unfold that what I'm discovering recently with Janet Redmond. I joined a workshop, 2 days workshop called Building Communication Bridges, Inside and Out. And in the second day, I went through a process about shame. We were in a circle reading a map about listening, and there was numbers, and each person was reading in the group this map out loud. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And there was a point that a woman was reading the number 5, and the next woman read the number 7. And she jumped from the number 5 to the number 7. In this point, so fast, I said, like, you jumped the number 6. And it was with this energy, like this energy forward and really fast. And it was from a reactive place in me of being perfect, of like, I want to do it perfect. And when this happened, that I spoke, you jumped, I get red, like I felt red in my cheeks, and the people in the room started to laughing. And they were laughing about something, I don't know what, but inside of me, I created the crazy story that they were laughing at me. And the space holder, Janet, she was so fast, and she took that moment that I was red and that they were laughing. And she asked, what is happening? So I started to go into a process about what was happening. And the main thing I accessed in the moment she asked me, it was fear. A huge amount of fear. I was like panicking. And I started to feel this fear, and it seems like unreal, because nothing was happening in reality. But I could see that was something really from the past, which means an emotion. So it was not a feeling from the now, it was an emotion, reaction. So I was acting again, something from the past. And in this point, I felt huge fear about they are laughing at me and judging me. And it was remind me a lot of experiences at school, that I was trying to be the good student or the being perfect and help the teacher and give the right answer, and the people in the classroom laugh at me because I was trying to help, and they were making jokes and say, oh, you are the CDF. In CDF in Portuguese is like, you are the nerd, you are the puppet of the teacher. And they used to make that jokes. So in that point I got triggered in this situation, and I felt shame. So the first feeling of the shame that was separating in me was the fear that they were laughing at me and that they were judging me. And then I mixed that, I went through the fear, I felt it, and then I went into the sadness. And sadness was about that I was trying to be perfect and following your structure and not being with this woman. I was trying to make it right and make it about me. This was the piece of the sadness, and then I feel the sadness. And the anger was quite challenge for me to identify. So Janet asked, what is the anger? And then I was struggling, just like, I'm not feeling anger. And then she, stay with your sadness and fear. So she was close to me like that, and then she moved to the center of the circle in front of me, and she raised her anger into 60%, and she spoke, stop laughing at her. This is not a space where we laugh at people. In this moment was a crack that happened in my heart, because as a child, this was the hope, the joy. So the joy in the shame that I discovered through that process is the piece of the hope that someone, some adult, will take a stand, will be a guardian to protect me, to be a boundary for me. And this was the hope that I was as child, when several times this happened at school, when I was laughing at. And the anger was the anger to move forward, to ask, why are you laughing? Or to check a story, or to say, stop, don't laugh at me. But as a child, I did not have the access or the structure or the power to do that, to stop what was happening. And then this anger goes inward, and it started to be like shutting down and being angry at myself. For example, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I did wrong because I point out the woman. Oh my God, why I always messed up? I just fuck up with this stuff. And then all these voices is this internalized anger from the shame. And this internalized anger, it's a bypass to the outside. And this was a revelation for me, because I was using to work with anger, just unmixing the feelings. I was working with shame when I was holding space for someone and in myself by unmixing the feelings. And this is an important piece of healing shame, the emotion shame, unmixing the feelings. Another piece is the boundary. It's someone taking the boundary. In this case, it was very powerful and helped me to go in the process, because we were in a group. But most important, it's you taking a boundary that you could not take. Saying what you did not said in the moment, because you were a child and you could not. You did not have the resources to choose differently as a little one, as a child. And now as an adult one, you have the choice. This is the process of healing of the shame, of this emotion that is grumpy and that is pull you inwards as a little dog. And I remember that after this process, I felt so much space in my body to take a stand to myself. And so this is a piece of the shame work. And the another piece is, if you are a parent or if you're holding space for a child and you see this child being ashamed of, or someone that is being envy at the children, it takes you to be a guardian for these children. It takes you to use your anger to say, stop, don't laugh at these children, don't say that to her. It takes you to guard her or his space. So you need your conscious anger to hold space for your child, for the children around you. If you are a teacher, if you are a mother, if you are a father, if you're a human being, it takes your conscious anger to step up and to hold space and to guard and to be a guardian for this child. So then when they grow up, when this little girl and this little boy grow up, they can stand for themselves. They can say yes and no. They can say stop. They can say this is my space. They can say don't laugh at me, or why are you laughing? I really want to know, why are you laughing? What is so fun about that? And this is the stand that you can take for a child. And if you see or face the challenges you have with accessing this anger as feeling, not as a reaction, I invite you to joining Rage Club. That is a space where we practice and we learn to use our anger for conscious purpose. And we also have healing spaces to go through the survival strategies you created to handle situations where it was not okay for you to feel as a child. We'll start to hold space in 20th of February with Maria for our next series of Rage Club. We are calling Unleashing Your Inner Warriors. And it's a 5 weeks training, and you are invited to joining. And I will be making in this training several invitations to you explore new territories of your feelings as a resource to take a stand for who you care and for what you care.